Hi everyone, welcome to another live session of Excel Global Services. I am Pooja, migration agent. I've got a very experienced migration agent, Mr. MAHEEP, along with me today. And today we are going to give you insight about what are the GTE requirements for the visitor visa, as well as we are going to touch base about temporary sponsored parent visa, subclass 870, and last but not the least, we'll also touch base about what's happening regarding the all the state nominations and the status at this stage. Yeah. So, my since I said that we are going to talk about the GT requirement about the visitor visa, I've recently seen, like, there are a lot of inquiries regarding, students trying to invite their parents and their brothers and sisters over to Australia, which is a very welcoming thing. But at the same time, I think a lot of students, they do not understand what are the requirements that they need to focus. So if you can give us more insight about it, that would really be good.
Hello, Pooja. Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Maheep. I'm a registered migration agent. And yes, Pooja. Uh, in relation to the visitor visa applications, we are talking about, especially for family members of temporary workers or temporary visa holders, like brothers or sisters of a student visa holder or TR 485 visa holder. Yeah, we have seen many refusals recently. There are some grants as well, so it depends, like, on the profile of the individual applicant. And mostly you can see, like, you'll be getting many inquiries from students and temporary visa holders that I want to sponsor, invite my uh, sister or brother. They are currently studying or working or not doing anything. They are different profiles. So when it comes to GT requirement for a visitor visa, like, we see many refusals on the basis of personal, economic, financial, employment tie-ups. We've seen many refusals with that. So
Yep.
maybe the case officer or the visa officer will be checking that the genuine tie-ups that applicant has to return back to their home country. So in
Yep.
case someone is doing a good job and, yeah, they have substantial tie-ups with their home country or their family back home, they have a decent job in this respective field, or they're currently studying a course, if someone is age of 20 or 21 and they're doing bachelor's, and if someone is enrolled into master's degree, they can apply for a tourism visa for a visit for 10 or 15 days along with their parents. In that case, yeah, we've seen positive results. But when it comes to the applicant is just not doing anything, they are just unemployed or not studying, then yes, there is a concern about their genuine intentions to come to Australia, and the visa officer may not be satisfied on these profiles.
So basically, if I have to tell you in a nutshell, so basically what actually department is looking is, like, when you come as a student, there is a GTE requirement to be fulfilled. In similar manner, when you're applying as a visitor, there is again another GTE requirement that you have to satisfy. That is providing there is a genuine reason for you to come and visit who is currently in Australia, and there is a reason for you to live back to your home country, and there is a strong tie-ups in terms of financial, economic, family, social. Like, for instance, if you are studying back in your country, you have got ties with your school, your colleges, or wherever you're going, and you've got a family over there. You can't be just living on your own. So there, in every manner, you have to satisfy the department that yes, you have a solid and legitimate reason to go back to your country, and the purpose of you coming here is solely just to visit whoever you are visiting, and it's like more into a tourism factor. So these are the things that we have to keep in mind. And another thing is, I think another important thing is also showing a very strong financial, because we cannot bluff the government saying that earning in a rupees we can come and have a holiday for months and months. So you need to have that substantial financial background back as well as here in Australia. Isn't that, Mahip?
Yes, yes, true. I've seen many inquiries coming through, and when the sponsor or the applicant from India, they will ask that how much funds we need to show to the department for a visitor visa, and when we tell them that at least we need to show the department that you have a liquid cash or source of funding available to spend.
Yep.
It should be around like 10 lakhs, and then they are surprised to hear that, and they say, oh no, we don't have 10 lakhs or 15 lakhs rupees. But if you're showing just 3 or 4 or 5 lakhs in your bank account and saying that you're coming for tourism right now, just going through the stats, like right now a ticket to travel to Australia and going back is around 200,000 rupees, 2 lakhs, and then you
Yeah.
need to have enough
That's
funding.
almost $4,000. Like, yeah.
$4,000, yeah. So if you do
Yeah.
not have at least $10,000 in your account, there's no point, you're saying yourself as a genuine visitor, just for
Exactly.
tourism purpose.
Yeah. So we just wanted to bring this a little bit, we wanted to highlight this because we've been recently getting so many queries regarding visitor visa, by students, like they want to bring their brother, sister. So make sure that, you keep all these things in your mind before you actually approach that, whether you qualify or satisfy all these areas. Then if you do, then yeah, we are always here to help you out. But always keep these factors into your mind. Like, it definitely plays a very important role when you're applying for a visitor visa. Now, another thing is also people who are not able to pay a lump sum amount of 40 or 50 grands and trying to bring their parent over here for, longer duration.
Yes.
There is another subclass 870. So maybe if we can just, tell our viewers a little bit about it, and then, so they have an understanding.
Sure, yeah. So subclass 870 visa is a temporary visa for parents. It was introduced a couple of years ago, and it was mainly for the applicants or the parents those cannot fulfill the family balance test requirement, and which is like your 50% of the children of your parents should be permanent resident or citizen in Australia. So 870 is for the parents those wants to stay in Australia for long term with their grandkids, and they want to spend time with their family. And this subclass is a temporary visa. It has two streams. You can apply for your parents to stay for consecutive 3 years, and then it is for 5 years as well. It is based on the money you'll be paying to the department. So the process is the person who will be sponsoring their parent, an Australian citizen or permanent resident, they must be earning at least uh, uh, income requirement is around $85,000
Yeah.
annually. Like their last year's income should be around 85,000 or 8,400 and some dollars. Like, so it is a requirement to be eligible as a sponsor. You should have earned that much amount, or at least 50% of the income can be counted of the main sponsor, and then they can add their spouse or other sibling who's permanent resident or citizen. And
Yep.
then the requirement is you apply for the sponsorship. It will cost you $420 to get the approval as a sponsor of a temporary parent visa.
Yep.
And then you apply for your parents' visa. You pay $1,000 in advance per application. It will be individual application. It will not be a combined application. So you need to
Yes.
pay $1,000 each parent in advance, and then
Yep.
request the department to grant the visa for 3 years or 5 years, and
Yep.
the remaining balance of either $4,000 for 3 years or $9,000 for 5 years per parent.
Yep.
Your parents can stay for 3 or 5 years consecutively in Australia, and then they can depart Australia after after the visa expiry for 90 days, and then reapply this visa again. It can be granted again for
So
once.
how many times can you apply for this visa, Maeve?
It is just once after the first visa, so
So it's
you can be granted this visa twice in your
okay, only
lifetime.
2 times. So keep that in mind. This visa you can only apply twice. So if you want your parents to be here for longer period, I would recommend you to apply for 5 years, so that after that they can come for another 5 years. So that way you can benefit the advantages of this visa subclass. Isn't that all right? And
Correct.
another thing, Naeem, if your sponsorship is approved, within what time limit you need to lodge the application? Is there any expiry time for your sponsorship? You can lodge your application next year as well.
No, it's there. I believe it is 6 months for the parents outside of Australia, and if you are applying for this subclass for parents inside Australia, which was introduced by
I
the
think
department,
60 days, I think. Is
that
that
is
right?
6 days. Yes.
60 days, yes. So once your sponsorship is approved, make sure that you do lodge your visa within 60 days. If not, then your sponsorship will be expired. So I think this is a very lucrative plan for all the children who settle over here, and as Maeve said, who's not able to meet their balance of family test. I think this is something that you should look forward to bring your parents to enjoy that family love and have those bonding to bring them over. Now, let's talk about the states since we are in the last quarter, and I know recently we got so many invites from Victoria, and there are a lot of people who are still waiting to hear. So I know they must be very disappointed, like thinking, "Oh, am I gonna get it or not? They've got it. My friends got it. How come I didn't?" So lately, we have been getting a lot of calls, inquiring regarding my friends already got the invitation. I haven't got it. So what would happen to me? Would I still get an invite? Am I like, so can you just tell a little bit more about that, Maeve? Like, what
Yes.
is
So,
your opinion in this?
yes, Pooja. So yeah, as we have seen recently, we've seen many. Uh, we'll talk about statewide. So for Victoria, you might have seen many refusals for the ROIs in last week, for
Mm,
especially for 491 applications, where the Victorian state government has sent the auto emails to all the applicants that
mm,
your ROI is not considered this time. You may apply next financial year, which will start on 1st July.
yep,
And we have seen South Australia government stating that they are almost near to fill their seats for 491 nomination, which has been about the quota they'll be uh,
so
they have
basically they're almost fulfilling their quota. Yep,
correct.
yep,
And same as with Western Australia, they have already requested the department to give them more seats for this year, and
yep.
they're in
And I
talks with.
think lately there was something like this with South Australia as well. Like, I think they've almost filled their quota for subclass 491 as well as 190.
Correct.
Yes. So I know we are almost in that state where all the states have almost fulfilled their state nomination quotas. But again, saying that I think there's still rays of hope because I think Australia has experienced a lifetime shortage of skilled laborers. So I'm assuming that next financial year there will be many welcoming news for all the people who has been here during pandemics and fulfilling all the requirements within their student visa, also working in their 485 in the nominated field. I think there will be a lot of good changes. What is your opinion in that, May?
Yes, yes. If you've seen the recent changes and updates by the department,
Yeah,
we have seen many good news, like right from getting a temporary post-study work visa for 3 years from 2 years after doing the master's degree in coursework, and then the government announced recently that anyone who's working in any occupation, doesn't matter if it is in critical sector or the essential sector, they can apply for a subclass 408 temporary
yeah,
visa, temporary
yeah.
activity visa. So lately, we believe that there will be good news for all the migrants, and immigration might come up with new plans and new guidelines to give as much as permanent residencies to the applicants.
Yeah.
Which
There was a very like a few months back when NT Northern Territory came up with the news that if they are doing any tertiary level of education over there and within 6 months of completion of their course, if they are trying to find the job in their nominated field, even if they are already in a bridging visa A applying for 485, still they qualify for 190, which is I think a very very good news for all the migrants. I think this kind of encouragement from the government to the international student who's coming here and studying and spending so much of their time, energy, money, and getting rewarded in that. I think lot of students should take advantage of this kind of avenues and this kind of programs that different state brings from time to time. What isn't that right, Maip?
Yes, yes, absolutely. So everyone comes with a dream to settle in Australia or to gain a qualification from Australia, which will help them to get a good job in Australia or outside of Australia. So yes,
Mhm.
so territory requirements, as you said, and same as with Tasmania as well. You complete 2 years of study, you could be eligible for 190. So we are hoping for some more good news by the department.
And also there is a lot of like because I know new financial years is coming, there's a lot of new changes that's going to come in, and I know there are a lot of like um, ifs and buts in going on in students' minds. And I've got a lot of my students calling in telling me, like for example in South Australia, if you're living in outer regional area, even living over there and working any amount of like 20 hours of role in any kind of job, not in your
Yeah,
own nominated field, you are able to get an invite for 491 and provided 2 years for 190. So they are like bit skeptical, like thinking, is this still gonna continue? Will they be all about turn? Like, are they completely gonna be removed? If that happens, what is the ramification of that in their life? So, like, these kind of queries are like now dwelling around, because we are as entering towards the end of the quarter, like of this financial year. So what is your opinion regarding that, my, like, as far as if you ask my opinion, I would say that they can't just completely do about turn. They have to give some weightage and some advantage to the plan which has been carrying her forward,
yeah.
because student might have moved to outer regional thinking they might qualify in next quarter or next financial year. I don't think they would be just completely 360 turn on that. What is your opinion regarding this?
Yeah, so I also think, like, the students should not lose any hope when they got this news about filling the quota for each state. They should stick with the plan. They move to South Australia or whether regional New South Wales or anywhere, and stay wherever they are staying at to get 491 or 190 nomination, and just be eligible for that visa first, like, rather than just worrying about like what would be the plan by the government or what would be guidelines. Like, we have seen many inquiries coming up from South Australia recently, when they announced that they'll be close to filling the quota. So students are of the impression that this will be for the long, like, for and for the next year or like for long duration. They're not aware that this is just till 30th of June. So whoever is moving or has recently moved to regional South Australia or New South Wales, in any regional area, they should just stay there, start looking for a job in the nominated occupation, which will help them to get the invitation soon. And
And
yeah,
also, I think another most important thing, as we have always said this in our every live session, is like, if you are able to get a skill assessment based on your bachelor degree that you have done back in your home, I think this is the time for you to do it. Because while you're pursuing your master, whatever you are doing here, for example, even advanced diploma or any degree, and if you're able to get a skill assessment based on your bachelor or whatever you've done in your home country, if a new financial year, if they come with any changes, any positive changes that might be applicable to you, then you are already qualified, hitting the door, isn't it, Mike? I
yes,
think.
yes, that is right. And I'll just tell you a case scenario regarding this situation you're talking about. I have a client who received the invitation yesterday only from ACT government. The client was on a student dependent visa with his wife. His wife is doing masters in IT, and he was working in India after his bachelor's degree as a contract administrator, and he continued that job in ACT while, like, as a dependent on student visa. And that person who worked hard and got his skills assessment approved as a contract administrator, and then now yesterday only got the invitation from Canberra for 491 visa.
Yeah,
Even he was a student dependent, and wife is still doing the masters in IT.
exactly.
So
That's why,
yeah,
yeah, being proactive always pays you in a long run. So, you know even as Maeve said that if the main primary applicant is still studying, and if your dependent has that skill set up and has been working in the nominated field in his country and has continued over here, yes, we can always apply skill assessment for your dependent as well. And through your dependent as well, there is a completely different migration journey that opens for you. So you
Mhm.
don't have to rely completely on your primary applicant. So this is all about like being proactive and planning, and that's what think properly. If you're not sure like what you're doing might get you a skill assessment, then that is the right time for you to knock the door to migration agent and have an overview and understanding whether it is eligible or not, isn't it?
Yes, yes, right, absolutely right. And when you're
And
spending $50,000 to $60,000 on studying a master's just to
yeah,
get permanent residency, and you're not taking a consultation, or like you're not visiting a migration agent who can assist you to get that permanent residency soon, I think you're
yeah,
making a mistake. Just listening to your friends, like you might have seen many clients, they are just calling you and say, like, I've heard this news from my friend, so I followed it up and it went wrong, like applying
yeah,
for a
exactly.
themselves or applying for a visa. It's
Yeah,
always best to take advice from experienced registered migration agent. And
yes. And always remember that every individual is different, and your case might not be same as your friend. Just because your friend did that, you might not have to do that. There might be a different pathway for you to do or follow. So don't just go up by saying what is your friend telling you, or what's your neighbors telling you, or what's happening in school or colleges that you are going. So it's always advisable for you to go and have a consult with your migration agent, who's able to guide you depending on your history and whatever you have done previously coming to Australia, as well as what you have been doing currently over here. So yeah, is there anything else you would like to add, my?
I would like to add one more thing, Pooja. I've seen recently, I've seen a couple of invitations from offshore as well. And
Yeah.
when it comes to Canberra and South Australia, they have opened doors for the offshore applicants, and New South Wales as well.
Mm.
And I would suggest the applicants to, like, those are living in here, they might have their brothers or sisters or relatives living back home, working in the nominated occupation, have good amount of experience and points. Always suggest them to apply for skills assessment and try for the offshore applications. In case they are
Yeah.
eligible, they
Yeah.
might get their permanent residency while sitting
Yeah,
it.
they can directly come here as a permanent resident. Yeah, as long as they've got the
Right.
nominated amount of years of experience in that field as required by different state, you know, and if you feel, yeah, that's your brother, sister, your uncle or auntie, whoever it is, and if they are under 45, because 45 is the cutoff age for the permanent residency,
Hmm.
and if they are still in their 30s and they're meeting all those requirements, then you might as well guide them to do a skill assessment and start doing their IELTS, scoring up those high points. And yes, and then you can always consult. And as Maeve said, and as I'm telling you as well, you don't know where the opportunities is waiting for you. It's just matter of opening the right door and just taking that opportunity.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, yeah, I think that's all,
Good.
unless you have
I
got.
would like to add one more thing, Pooja. Today
Yeah,
in the morning, we received a revocation of a visa cancellation by the department. One of our client was in India. That
yeah,
client was studying, and they were not aware that their visa has been cancelled by the department.
yeah.
And the applicant attempted 3 times to come to Australia, and they've been denied by the airport authorities that they do not have a visa,
Mm,
because client was of the impression that their visa is not yet cancelled because they didn't get any notification from the department.
yes,
So as just the general information for all the applicants, that if they do have any friend or relative whose visa has been cancelled by the department and they haven't received any notification, do consult a registered migration agent and look for the options. There might be some path
exactly,
that can.
exactly. Remember, when you are offshore, department do not have they do not have to let you know that your visa is cancelled, provided you have not met with all the condition laid in your visa, so they can cancel without notifying you as well.
Hmm.
And by any chance, as Maeve said, that you have been obstructed, not allowed, then that is the right time for you to consult. In that case, then a register migration agent can represent you and negotiate with the department and try to work whatever is best for you. So yes, these are few important things that we all should be mindful going ahead. What's happening regarding your visas and your expiry and your conditions and your cancellations, and yeah, thereabout. So it's always good to have a second opinion with your migration agent. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think in that note, thank you so much for coming live and joining with us. And if there is more anything that you would like to know about and you want to hear in next live session, please put a comment. We will definitely get back to you with whatever your queries are, and we will want to make it more interesting. Want to let you know about what is your target, what is your query. So we would like to address those issues coming forward in other live shows. So definitely thank you so much for your patience and being yeah,
Yeah.
thank you, Wayne.
Thank you, Pooja, and happy weekend. Yeah.
Happy Holi to all our Indian viewers as
Happy
well.
Holi as well to all our Indian applicants and
Thank
clients.
you.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye.